Hey now, in the next 12 minutes, I'm going to show you 12 complete trading systems that have been proven profitable over a series of at least 100 consecutive trades. And if you want to see more content like this, just crush that subscribe button better than she can ride a tricycle. The first system is the Ehlers Trend Cycle, which utilizes Ehlers' instantaneous trend, the Ehlers simple cycle indicator, and ATR bands. First, the Ehlers instantaneous trend buy signal must change to a sell. This is represented by a blue candle followed by a red one. Second, the Ehlers simple cycle has to show hidden bearish divergence. On the chart, we are looking for a lower high on price and a higher high on the indicator. Our criteria for entry are met on this trigger candle. Place our stop at 2 times the ATR above the trigger candle and target 1-to-1 for the first half of our position. When target 1 is hit, the rest of the position is moved to break even, and 2-to-1 is the next target. And this one continues the trend to our target. This test was done on the most traded instrument in the world, Euro versus the US dollar, 4-hour candles. This system produced a 57% winning ratio for a 20% gain on account, risking 1% per trade on this dataset. The next profitable system is HOLO, and it uses one non-mathematical indicator. First, only take setups 8 hours after the daily open, which are candles outside the red shaded area. Second, we must identify the lowest price for the day and wait for that candle to close. Third, the next candle must be the lowest open for the entire session day, so we can see no candle open lower than this one for the entire day. Fourth, the price comes below the candle open but does not make a new daily low, and then the price comes above the daily open. When that happens, this becomes our trigger candle. Finally, we enter once the price moves above the candle open. We do not wait for the candle to close. The stop is placed at the lowest price of the day, and target 1 is 1-to-1 for half our position. When 1-to-1 is hit, the stop is moved to break even, and we target 3-to-1 for the second half. And this one crushes target 2. This test was done on Bitcoin versus the US dollar, 1-hour candles. The winning percentage was short of 50%, but the gain on the account turned out to be 46%, risking 2% per trade. If you enjoy this content, please press the like button. The next system is the Vampire VU. This system uses 2 indicators, the Fu Manchu Swing Free and the 200 Exponential Moving Average. Price below the 200 EMA, a Fu Manchu sell signal. That converges on this candle here. That is our trigger. We place our stop at the previous swing high and target 1-to-1 for half our position. When 1-to-1 is hit, we move the stop for the other half to break even. And we exit this trade when we get a buy signal. So this test was done on the Euro against the US dollar, 1-hour time frame. Winning percentage was 65% with a total gain on account of 32.13. The next profitable system is the Easy 3. This strategy incorporates 3 exponential moving averages. First, price must close below the 200 EMA in white. Second, the pullback must cause the 20 EMA to be under the 9 EMA. Third, price must close above the 200 EMA during the pullback. Finally, price must close back below the 200 EMA and break the lower trend line of the pullback. All of that happens on this candle here. That is our trigger candle. The stop is placed at the highest level above the 200 EMA and the target is 1 to 1.5. And this setup winds up hitting 1.5. This test was done on Bitcoin versus the US dollar 1-hour candles. This dataset produced a win rate of 55% and the gain on account was 38%, risking 1% per trade using a 1 to 1.5 risk to reward. Fifth is the popular Trend Finder system. This strategy places 3 indicators on the chart. They are the QQE mod, the SSL hybrid, and the 200 EMA. First, price must be above the 200 exponential moving average. Second, we are looking for the QQE mod to show a blue histogram bar. Third, the SSL channel needs to be blue. Fourth, the candle must be a solid blue. And finally, we need a blue up arrow on the SSL hybrid, which is our buy signal. All of that happens on this candle here. That is our trigger candle. So our stop is placed below the blue arrow, and we are going to target 1-to-1 for half our position. When 1-to-1 is hit, we move our stop to break even and let the rest go to target 2, which is 2-to-1. And the second half of this one stops out at break even. Winning percentage was 63%. 30%. The total gain on account, if you took all the trades risking 1% per trade, would have been 30.5%. The next system is scalping on the half trend, and it requires the half trend indicator and a multi-time frame EMA. First, price must be above the 15-minute 200 exponential moving average. Second, we are looking for a buy signal on the half trend, which is signified by a blue triangle pointed up. All of that happens on this candle here. That is our trigger candle. We place our stop at the ATR level of the half trend and target 2-to-1, and this one hits our target. This test was done on Bitcoin versus the US dollar 5-minute candles. This test produced a 47% win rate. Gain on the account risking 2% per trade was 80%, not counting fees. The seventh profitable system is Rebound and Pivot, which uses the dynamic structure indicator and 2 EMAs. The rules for a long entry on Rebound and Pivot are: first, price closes above the 200 EMA. Second, price then comes above and then comes back in to the 55 EMA. Third, enter when the price rebounds and pivots off of the 55 EMA. All of that happens on this candle here. Wait for the close of the candle, and that will be our trigger. We place our stop at the lowest support zone in green on the dynamic structure indicator, and we're going to target half of our position at 1-to-1. When 1-to-1 is hit, we are going to move our stop to break even and target 2-to-1 for the rest of our position. And this one hits target 2. This test was done on the euro versus the US dollar on the 1 hour time frame. It took 14 months to find our 100 setups. Winning percentage of 71%. Gain on account, if you took all of those trades, would have been 50.5%. 8. We have Bollinger Band on the trend that utilizes Bollinger Bands and the 200 EMA. First, we must have price above the 200 exponential moving average in white. Second, we are looking for hidden bullish divergence on the relative strength index. Here we have a higher low on price and a lower low on the RSI. Finally, we want to see a close above the Bollinger Band basis line in orange. All of that happens on this candle here. That is our trigger candle. We place our stop at the bottom of the Bollinger Band in blue and target 1-to-1 for the first half of our position. When 1-to-1 is hit, we move our stop to break even and target 2-to-1 for the remainder of our position. And the second half of this one stops out at break even. This test was done on Bitcoin versus the US dollar 15-minute candles. We ended up with a 63% winning percentage with a 53% gain on account, risking 1% per trade. Now we come to the works, which uses an astounding 8 indicators. They are the stochastic RSI, the 200 EMA, the time segmented volume indicator, and 3 super trend studies. First, price above the 200 EMA. Second, the time segmented volume indicator is above the 0 line. Third, we have at least 2 super trend green lines. And 4, this is the part where we can use either stochastic or the stochastic RSI. What we are looking for is either indicator to go into the oversold territory during the pullback, and whichever indicator you are using, and in this case, it is the stochastic RSI, you cannot enter if either line is touching the overbought territory, which is 80. Everything converges on this candle here. That is our trigger candle. We have 2 ways to place our stop. We are going to place our stop loss at either the lowest super trend line or the bottom of the pullback, whichever is greater or further away. We're going to target 1-to-1 for half our position. When 1-to-1 gets hit, we move our stop to break even and target 2-to-1 for the other half of our position. And this one hits 2-to-1. This test was done on the euro US dollar 1 hour candles. Winning percentage was 75% and the gain on the account risking 2% per trade was 113%. The 10th profitable system is the double bounce, and it uses Heikin-Achi candles, 2 VWAPs, the QQE mod, and the trading session indicator. First, price is 4 hours away from the VWAP outside the red shaded area. Then price touches an upper VWAP band. Third, there is bearish divergence on the QQE mod. We can see a higher high on price and a lower high on the QQE. Fourth, a red Heikin-Achi candle closes below the upper VWAP band. All the criteria is met when this candle closes. That is our trigger candle. The stop is placed above the swing high and our target is 2-to-1. And this one hits our target. This test was done on Bitcoin versus the US dollar 5-minute candles. The win rate here was 56% with a total gross gain on account being 67%, risking 1% per trade. The 12th profitable system is Explode on the Double D. This system uses 4 indicators: the 100 EMA, the 50 EMA, ATR bands, and the time segmented volume indicator. First, price is below the 200 EMA. Second, the 50 EMA is below the 200 EMA. Third, price touches the 50 EMA. Fourth, we are looking for either regular or hidden bearish divergence. In this candle, we have hidden bearish divergence, a lower high on price, and a higher low on the stochastic. 5, there is a red bar on the WAE that is above both the explosion and dead zone lines. And finally, we have a candle that closes the 50 EMA. This is our trigger. We target 1-to-1 for half our position. When 1-to-1 is hit, we move our stop to break even and target 2-to-1. And this one hits 2-to-1. This test was done on both the US versus the yen and the euro versus the yen 1 hour time frame. 154 hit target 1, 81 hit target 2, and 59 stopped out. Gain on the account, risking 1% per trade, was 82.5. Winning percentage here was 72.3%. Now let's review the super duper super trend. This system uses 3 free TradingView indicators: the wave trend oscillator, force index, and the double exponential moving average, or DEMA. First, price must be above the double EMA. Second, we are looking for a super trend buy signal. All of that happens on this candle here. This is our trigger. We place our stop below the trigger candle at the super trend line, and we exit the trade when the super trend sell signal appears either in profit or at break even. And we book the trade on the close of this candle. This test was done on Doge versus the US dollar and Litecoin versus the US dollar. The win rate was 53%, but the gain on the account, risking 2% per trade, was a whopping 130% gross. Check out this playlist for more profitable systems, and have a great day, because you deserve it.